beginning. I watched the shipwrights lay the keel blocks. They set big wooden blocks on the slipway to start with, then the keel atop of it, like a backbone, and the frames attached to that, like a skeleton.
Workshops everywhere. It took weeks to find your way around. There'd be workshops for every trade you ever heard of. Painters, sailmakers, coppersmiths, boiler makers, cabinet makers. I even learned a bit about French polishing off them.
Harlowers was a fine place to work, but dangerous. Every ship cost a life, and there'd be lots of injuries besides.
I was in the engine works for a while. Very well equipped it was. That's where we built the triple expansion engines. 2 of them, each as high as a 3-story house.
I worked in the frame bending shop. You'd heat steel beams in the furnace, then hook them onto slabs of cast iron and hammer them curved. It was skilled work. You had to bend them more than you needed because the frame straightened out a little when it cooled. Clincher. One of the foremen taught me years ago. That's how you build steel ships. There's no straight lines in a ship. And when you look down the weather deck, you can see the sheer of her hull.
Burning in heavy seas. You'd have all these timbers and guy wires to steady the frame, and then
Launch the final rocket.
Watched by an estimated 100,000 people. Almost a year of fitting out followed, transforming the massive hull into the sumptuously appointed liner described by the White Star Line as the Queen of the Ocean. By March 1912, Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. For Belfast, the triumphant culmination of many years' planning and labour. Before she could be handed over, Titanic had to undergo sea trials. On the 2nd of April 1912, she carried out a series of manoeuvres in open water, under the watchful eye of Board of Trade Inspector Francis Carruthers. Then, at 8 p.m. that evening, she departed Belfast for Southampton. She was preceded by a considerable weight of expectation. At Southampton, the White Star Line had already constructed the massive deep-water ocean dock, covering almost 16 acres and dredged to a depth of 40 feet. England's premier passenger port was flourishing, with new shops, restaurants and businesses opening to service the growing passenger trade. And job opportunities on board ship and in the docks brought migrants from all over Britain and Ireland. Almost 400 of Titanic's crew lived in Southampton's northern district. A national coal strike had left several ships laid up in dock, and the prospect of a job on Titanic was a welcome relief for crewmen who managed to sign up. On April 5th, Titanic was dressed in her signal flags and pennants as a Good Friday tribute to the people of Southampton who had welcomed her. By April 10th, the ship had been fully provisioned, including 75,000 pounds of fresh meat, 40,000 eggs, 1,000 sweetbreads, and 8,000 cigars. At 7 a.m., Captain Edward John Smith came aboard the Titanic to prepare for the Board of Trade muster at 8. Around 9:30, the first passengers arrived on the boat train from London Waterloo. By late morning, all the passengers and crew were aboard, minus 2 firemen who were delayed in a public house. Titanic's launch in May 1911 was watched by an estimated 100,000 people. Almost a year of fitting out for sea trials. On the 2nd of April 1912, she carried out a series of maneuvers in open water under
The ship was now sinking fast, but the captain, otherwise our boat would be pulled down with the ship. During all this time, the ship's piano was kept playing, and the strains of Near My God to Thee could be plainly heard as the stern of the great ship was raised in the air.
I am coming to America on the nicest ship in the world. I'm coming with some of the nicest people in the world too. Isn't that just splendid?
This going away.
I am standing in the place where Titanic was built. Behind me is the Titanic Museum, and that place there is where they built the Titanic as well as other Olympic ships. Let me show you how big this area is. See, it's massive. Like, this area is massive. So this is the exact spot where Titanic was built. That big crane, that is Thompson, and the one behind way there near the tree is the Goliath crane. Those were the cranes that was used to build ships and other industrial objects. And Goliath cranes, they have a little lights on them, which they use for airplanes to help locate the airport and the runway as well. The only place that Titanic ever saw land, because it never made to New York, and when it took people in Southampton, it was not staying on land area, it was way up in the sea, and passengers took boats to get to the Titanic. And behind me, this building is where they made the engines of Titanic, those boilers. And now this place is very popular as a distillery for whiskey. When I saw the movie Titanic, I was really like a lot of girls, I was really smitten by Leo, and I always wondered what it would be like to see the place where Titanic was made, and I can't believe I'm here. It's almost like whatever I dreamt of when I was a kid, my dreams are coming true. My birthday is coming up soon, and I wanted to explore a place where I had always thought about in warship here, and she is the oldest warship existing since World War I, and she's only among the 3 ships that's left from World War I. So she's also chilling here in the dock near Thompson Dock area where Titanic touched land for the first and the last time. Never thought of all these things that we use in our everyday life was actually made in Belfast. Linen clothes, there were whole linen factories about clothes that was made in Belfast. Since they had ships, they needed heavy ropes, so even ropes were manufactured here, and things like cigarettes, tobacco was also manufactured here. The Wright brothers, they used Belfast to get parts of their plane, which was also made here. And like any kind of things that we think about industrialism wise, I think that's a cargo ship, Pacific Basin, and it is loading cargo, and look, the crane is loading or unloading some stuff. It's quite peaceful around here as I'm walking through.